In a bid to regulate the dynamic tech space, the Centre has finalized the Telecom Bill 2022, which will replace the Indian Telegraph Act of 1885. While the government hopes that this bill will bring clarity when it comes to regulating the telecommunication sector, some experts have expressed some reservation on some parts of the bill. Before we go into controversies, let us understand what the bill is all about. It has proposed many changes to the Telegraph Act, and these changes could have a profound impact on the telecom sector. For example, the bill has introduced the term telecommunication services in place of telegraph, which has helped it clarify the types of services and technologies which will fall under the regulatory ambit of telecom regulations. Broadcast voice and data services all will fall under its purview as before, but internet communication services like WhatsApp, Zoom, and email will also fall under the ambit of this bill. It removes some ambiguity in some matters. Firstly, it says that the government will remain the custodian of spectrum assets owned by the company if the company falls into bankruptcy. Right now, there is no clarity about who owns the spectrum if an operator defaults. Does it belong to the centre or can banks take control? Now, the bill provides the answers and there is clarity. So this will avoid court disputes like the ones involving the dissolution of Alcom. It also introduces a clause that will allow the government to provide waivers to those operators who cannot pay their dues. Secondly, the bill has also brought changes in provisos addressing spectrum management. Right now, the Telegraph does not govern how the government provided spectrum to the telecom service providers. Processes through which spectrum would be provided to operators was decided on an ad hoc manner, and mistakes in the process would cause courts to intervene, leading to the Supreme Court verdict in a 2G case, after which spectrum for telecom services has started to be auctioned. Now the Centre wants to take back control on spectrum management for the first time since the Supreme Court verdict. It has opened room for different types of assignment. According to the bill, the spectrum can be assigned administratively in addition to auction, which is how it is currently assigned. An assignment should be done for the common good principle in utilization rather than for generating revenue for the government, as per the words of the bill. So what is the industry saying? The bill is quite expansive and the industry is still figuring out how it will impact the sector. However, some initial reactions have decried certain specific parts of the bill. For instance, the bill proposes to dilute the powers of the regulator, the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, by removing the back references and referencing between the Department of Telecommunications and TRAI. BIF, Broadband India Forum, has noted that this proviso could take the industry back into the pre-1997 era, where TRAI did not exist. Several civil liberty organizations and some tech companies want more clarity about the inclusion of OTT services in the bill. Earlier, I mentioned that internet communication services like WhatsApp, Zoom, email will be regulated under the new telecom bills. So the service providers could be subject to licensing and other types of regulation, just like a typical telecom service provider. Experts are worried that user anonymity and privacy could be compromised as a result. The bill proposes that users utilizing internet communication services will have to disclose their identity while signing on to these services. The bill also has clauses through which the state could potentially intercept messages, and this could potentially impact privacy and threaten end-to-end encryption of many services. Therefore, right to anonymity and right to privacy that many users take for granted while utilizing internet communication services could be compromised. Tech companies such as WhatsApp would also find it hard to implement some of these provisions, like disclosure of identity due to end-to-end encryption utilized in these apps. These provisions pose administrative questions too. In order to impose license fee, the government will have to determine the revenue accrued from internet communication services. But most apps are free to use and they earn revenue from partnerships with businesses which are not typically under the ambit of telecom services. Right now, there are many questions and the government will have to answer each and every one of them. That's a whole process after all. The bill is in drafting process and it is presently open for public consultation. It is quite likely that the bill will see many changes during the process.